If the first plague was rivers of blood, the sixth was boils, and the eighth was locusts, what was the 10th plague inflicted upon Egypt according to the book of Exodus? Death of the firstborn. According to the book of Exodus, the 10th and final plague inflicted upon Egypt was the death of the firstborn sons. This event compelled the Pharaoh to release the Israelites from slavery. Which nation hosted the FIFA World Cup in 1982, following Mexico in 1970, West Germany in 1974, and Argentina in 1978? Spain. The FIFA World Cup is an international association football competition contested by the senior men's national teams of the members of the Federación Internacional de Fútbol Association, FIFA. It occurs every 4 years. What was the name of the cat that allegedly survived the sinking of the Bismarck, HMS Cossack, and HMS Ark Royal during World War II? Unsinkable Sam. Unsinkable Sam, also known as Oscar, was a ship's cat who allegedly survived the sinking of 3 different ships during World War II. This is an anecdote related to naval history and wartime stories. Which U.S. state was named by Sir Walter Raleigh? Virginia. Sir Walter Raleigh, an English explorer and colonizer, named the territory of Virginia in honor of Queen Elizabeth I, who was known as the Virgin Queen. This marked an early attempt at English colonization in North America. Which Thomas was executed alongside Guy Fawkes in November 1605? Winter. Thomas Winter was a key member of the Gunpowder Plot, a failed attempt to assassinate King James I in 1605. He was executed along with Guy Fawkes and other conspirators for their role in the plot. Which English monarch succeeded William III of Orange? Anne. Queen Anne succeeded William III of Orange to the thrones of England, Scotland, and Ireland in 1702. Her reign saw the Act of Union 1707, which formally united England and Scotland into Great Britain. Which planet has a rotational period longer than its orbital period? Venus. Venus has a peculiar characteristic in that its sidereal rotation period, 243 Earth days, is longer than its orbital period around the Sun, 225 Earth days. This results in a solar day on Venus being significantly shorter than its year. What is the name of the star closest to Earth? The Sun. The Sun is the star at the center of the solar system and is by far the most important source of energy for life on Earth. Its proximity makes it crucial for maintaining Earth's temperature and supporting photosynthesis. Who was the first woman to become Prime Minister in the world, in 1960? Sirimavo Bandaranaike. Sirimavo Bandaranaike served as the Prime Minister of Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, in 1960, becoming the world's first female Prime Minister. Her tenure marked a significant milestone in women's political leadership globally. Which ancient philosopher is reputed to have possessed a golden thigh? Pythagoras. Pythagoras, the ancient Greek philosopher and mathematician, is attributed in legend with having a golden thigh. This detail, while likely apocryphal, adds to the mystique surrounding his life and teachings. In the Japanese language, what term signifies those who serve? Samurai. The term, samurai, in Japanese refers to the military nobility and officer caste of medieval and early modern Japan. They were renowned for their service to lords, and adherence to a strict code of conduct known as Bushido. Who is the author of the play, Under Milkwood? Dylan Thomas. Dylan Thomas, the celebrated Welsh poet, penned the play, Under Milkwood, a radiodrama known for its rich language and vivid depiction of life in a small Welsh village. It is considered one of his most significant works. Which author's works include The History of Mr. Polly, The Time Machine and The War of the Worlds? H. G. Wells. H. G. Wells, 1866–1946, was a prolific English writer known for his science fiction novels, which explored themes of technological advancement and social commentary. His works have had a lasting impact on literature and popular culture. Who wrote the Communist Manifesto? Karl Marx. Karl Marx, 1818 to 1883, was a German philosopher, economist, and sociologist who, with Friedrich Engels, co-authored the Communist Manifesto in 1848. This pamphlet outlines the principles of communism and critiques capitalism, becoming a foundational text for socialist and communist movements worldwide. Of Mice and Men is a novel by which American novelist? John Steinbeck. John Steinbeck, 1902 to 1968, was a prominent American author known for his novels depicting the lives and struggles of working-class Americans during the Great Depression. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1962. From which poem by Robert Burns does the quote "The best laid schemes of mice and men gang aft ugly come"? Ode to a Mouse. Robert Burns, 1759 to 1796, was a Scottish poet and lyricist. His poem, To a Mouse, on turning her up in her nest with the plough, contains the famous line, "The best laid schemes o' mice and men, gang aft ugly," meaning that even the best plans often go awry. Who was the last of the 7 Roman kings? Lucius Tarquinius Superbus. Lucius Tarquinius Superbus was the 7th and traditionally last king of Rome, reigning from 535 to 509 BC. His reign was ended by a revolt that led to the establishment of the Roman Republic. One of the 7 wonders of the world was located in Alexandria. What type of structure was it? A lighthouse. The Lighthouse of Alexandria, also known as the Pharos of Alexandria, was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. It was a towering structure built in the 3rd century BC on the island of Pharos in Alexandria, Egypt, serving as a navigational aid and a symbol of the city's power. In what year did the first Red Nose Day take place? 1988. Red Nose Day, a fundraising event organized by Comic Relief, was first held in 1988 in the United Kingdom. It aims to raise money for charities that work to alleviate poverty and social injustice both in the UK and internationally. Name the 5 countries that constitute the Nordic Council. Denmark, Iceland, Finland, Norway and Sweden. The Nordic Council is a forum for interparliamentary cooperation between Denmark, Iceland, Finland, Norway, and Sweden. It focuses on promoting cooperation in areas such as culture, environment, economy, and social welfare. In the periodic table of chemical elements, what are the 5 currently recognized halogens? Astatine, bromine, chlorine, fluorine, and iodine. Halogens are a group of 5 chemically related elements, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine, that are highly reactive and tend to form negative ions. They are located in group 17 of the periodic table. In the Bible, what are the 5 books that constitute the Pentateuch? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. The Pentateuch, also known as the Torah, comprises the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible. These books are traditionally attributed to Moses and contain foundational narratives and laws for Judaism and Christianity. What are the names of the historic Cinque Ports located in southern England? Dover, Hastings, New Romney, Hyde, and Sandwich. The Cinque Ports were a historic confederation of coastal towns in southeastern England, originally formed for military and trade purposes. They provided ships and men to the crown in exchange for certain privileges. Which 4 islands comprise the Balearic Islands? Majorca, Menorca, Ibiza, and Formentera. The Balearic Islands are an archipelago in the western Mediterranean Sea, forming an autonomous community of Spain. Each island possesses a unique landscape, culture, and history, making them a popular tourist destination. Which 4 US presidents are depicted on Mount Rushmore? George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, and Theodore Roosevelt. Mount Rushmore, located in South Dakota, features the sculpted faces of 4 prominent US presidents representing the nation's founding, political philosophy, preservation, and expansion. Its creation was a major feat of engineering and artistry. What do the four horsemen of the apocalypse represent? War, famine, pestilence, except disease, and death. The four horsemen of the apocalypse are figures in the book of Revelation, each symbolizing a different form of tribulation that will occur at the end of times. They are frequently used in art and literature to represent catastrophic events. In which royal residence did both George V and George VI die? Sandringham House. Sandringham House, located in Norfolk, England, served as a private country retreat for the British royal family. Both King George V, died 1936, and King George VI, died 1952, passed away at Sandringham, solidifying its place in royal history. Which scientific instrument was invented by father and son Hans and Zacharias Janssen in the late 16th century? Microscope. Hans and Zacharias Janssen, Dutch spectacle makers, are credited with the invention of the microscope around 1590. Their work laid the foundation for advancements in microscopy. Which of the disciples of Jesus was the brother of Andrew? Saint Peter. Saint Peter, also known as Simon Peter, was one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ and is considered the first pope by the Catholic Church. He was the brother of Saint Andrew, also an apostle. What were the full names of Bonnie and Clyde? Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow. Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow were American criminals who traveled the country with their gang during the Great Depression. Their exploits, robberies, and violent encounters with law enforcement captured public attention and solidified their place in American folklore. Anna Sage, a brothel owner, is historically known for providing information to the FBI regarding which bank robber? John Dillinger. Anna Sage, also known as the Woman in Red, provided crucial information to the FBI that led to the apprehension of John Dillinger. Her involvement highlights the role of informants in law enforcement investigations during the era of notorious bank robbers. Who was the dentist, gambler, and gunfighter of the American Old West, primarily remembered for his association with Wyatt Earp? John Henry, Doc, Holliday. John Henry, Doc, Holliday, 1851–1887, was a complex figure in the American Old West, known for his skills as a dentist and gambler but primarily remembered for his friendship and participation in events with Wyatt Earp, including the gunfight at the OK Corral. His image has been romanticized and mythologized through various portrayals in popular culture. Approximately how many public houses were there in the United Kingdom in 2006? 57,500. In 2006, the number of pubs in the UK was estimated to be around 57,500, reflecting the cultural and economic significance of these establishments. The number has since declined due to various factors, including economic downturns and changing social habits. In which of Shakespeare's plays does the character Viola pose as a boy named Cesario? Twelfth Night. Twelfth Night, a comedy by William Shakespeare, features Viola disguising herself as a male page, Cesario, after being shipwrecked. This plot device explores themes of love, disguise, and mistaken identity. Who is the Celtic sun god? Lugh. Lugh is a major deity in Irish mythology, representing the sun, light, and skill. He is associated with arts, crafts, and warfare. What was renamed as BBC Radio 4 in 1967? BBC Home Service. BBC Radio 4 was launched on September 30, 1967, replacing the BBC Home Service as part of a restructuring of BBC Radio. This change broadened the station's programming, including news, drama, and current affairs. How many symphonies did Mozart compose? 41. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart composed 41 symphonies, a significant contribution to classical music. His symphonies are notable for their melodic invention and structural sophistication. Who wrote Principia Mathematica, published in 1687? Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton authored Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, published in 1687. This groundbreaking work introduced his laws of motion and universal gravitation, fundamentally shaping classical physics. What capability is associated with scotopic vision? The ability to see in the dark. Scotopic vision refers to the vision of the eye under low light conditions. Specialized cells in the retina, known as rods, are responsible for this type of vision, enabling perception in near darkness. Who deposed Richard II in 1399? Henry Bolingbroke, IV. Henry Bolingbroke, later Henry IV, deposed Richard II in 1399, initiating the Lancastrian dynasty's rule over England. This event marked a significant turning point in English history. In which century was the Declaration of Arbroath signed? 14th. The Declaration of Arbroath, a letter to Pope John XXII dated April 6, 1320, asserted Scotland's independence from England and is a key document in Scottish history, solidifying its nationhood in the 14th century. In which Scottish location was the famed Irish manuscript, the Book of Kells, illuminated? Iona. The Book of Kells, a beautifully illuminated manuscript containing the four Gospels, is believed to have been partially created or at least housed at the monastery on the island of Iona, Scotland, before being moved to Kells in Ireland due to Viking raids. Who was the last British monarch to have been born in Scotland? Charles I. Charles I, who reigned from 1625 to 1649, was the last British monarch born in Scotland. He was born in Dunfermline Palace, Fife, in 1600. During which century was Sir Walter Scott born? 18th. Sir Walter Scott, a renowned Scottish historical novelist, playwright, and poet, was born in 1771, placing his birth firmly in the 18th century and influencing the Romantic era. During which battle was James IV killed? Flodden Field. James IV, King of Scotland, was killed at the Battle of Flodden Field in 1513. This defeat was a major blow to the Scottish army and kingdom. In which park, thought by many to be the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, was James Watt taking a stroll when he conceived the idea for his improved steam engine? Glasgow Green. James Watt's improved steam engine, a pivotal invention in the Industrial Revolution, is believed to have been conceived while he was walking in Glasgow Green. Air Chief Marshal Sir Hugh Dowding, the architect of the Battle of Britain victory, was born in which Scottish borders town? Moffat. Air Chief Marshal Sir Hugh Dowding, instrumental in the Royal Air Force's defence during the Battle of Britain, was born in Moffat, a town in the Dumfries and Galloway region of Scotland. In New York in 1890, what method was used to execute William Kemmler, making him the first person to be executed by this means? Electric chair. William Kemmler's execution in New York in 1890 marked the first use of the electric chair for capital punishment, sparking considerable debate about its humanity and efficacy. Which country became the first in the world to have a female prime minister in 1960? Sri Lanka. Sirimavo Bandaranaike of Sri Lanka, then Ceylon, became the world's first female prime minister in 1960. Her election marked a significant milestone in women's political history. What was the name of the first dog to orbit the Earth? Laika. Laika, a Soviet space dog, became the first animal to orbit the Earth aboard Sputnik 2 in 1957. This mission provided invaluable data about the effects of spaceflight on living organisms. Which body part did French woman Isabelle Dinois receive the first transplant of in 2005? Face. Isabelle Dinois, a French woman, underwent the world's first partial face transplant in 2005. This groundbreaking surgery paved the way for advancements in reconstructive surgery and transplantation techniques. What was the world's first jet-driven airliner to enter commercial service? The Comet. The de Havilland Comet was the world's first jet-powered commercial airliner, entering service in 1952. Though initially successful, early models experienced structural failures, leading to design improvements in later versions. Situated on the north coast of Scotland, where is the UK's first fast breeder nuclear reactor located? Donray. Donray, located on the north coast of Scotland, housed the UK's first fast breeder nuclear reactor. Fast breeder reactors are designed to produce more fissile material than they consume, potentially offering a more sustainable source of nuclear energy. In 1983, for what type of evidence was Colin Pitchfork the first criminal to be convicted for murder by the use of DNA fingerprinting? Colin Pitchfork was the first person convicted of murder using DNA fingerprinting in 1983. This case marked a turning point in forensic science, establishing DNA evidence as a powerful tool in criminal investigations. Born in 1978, what is the name of the UK's first test tube baby? Louise Brown. Louise Brown was the first human conceived through in vitro fertilization, IVF, born in the United Kingdom in 1978. Her birth represented a major breakthrough in reproductive technology, offering hope to individuals and couples struggling with infertility. The capital city of the USA is Washington, D.C. What do the letters D.C. represent in this case? District of Columbia. In Washington, D.C., the letters D.C. stand for District of Columbia. This refers to the federal district established in 1790 to serve as the permanent national capital of the United States. Which country is designated with the International Vehicle Registration Code, M? Malta. International vehicle registration codes are standardized to identify the country of origin of a vehicle. Malta, an island nation in the Mediterranean Sea, is assigned the code M. Prior to its dissolution, how was the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics abbreviated using the Russian Cyrillic alphabet? CCCP. The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR, was abbreviated as CCCP in Russian, using the Cyrillic alphabet. This abbreviation represents Souz Sovetski Socialistiski Respublik. Given that the United Kingdom utilizes the Internet top-level domain suffix, UK, which country employs the suffix, is? Iceland. Internet top-level domain suffixes are country-specific. Iceland is assigned the is suffix, allowing websites and email addresses to be identified as originating from Iceland. In which country is the headquarters of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, located? Austria. OPEC, a cartel of oil-producing nations, has its headquarters in Vienna, Austria. Austria is a Central European country and a significant diplomatic hub. Thomas Jonathan Jackson was a Confederate general during the American Civil War. By what name was he better known? Stonewall. Thomas Jonathan, Stonewall, Jackson, 1824–1863, was a Confederate general during the American Civil War, and one of the best-known Confederate commanders after General Robert E. Lee. His nickname, Stonewall, was earned at the First Battle of Bull Run for his steadfastness under fire. Which American abstract artist, bearing the surname Jackson, was influential and passed away in 1956? Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock was a highly influential American abstract expressionist painter. He is renowned for his unique style of drip painting, a technique he pioneered in the late 1940s and early 1950s. By what name is the day preceding the Christian fasting period of Lent commonly referred? Shrove Tuesday. Shrove Tuesday, also known as Pancake Day, is the day before Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent in Western Christianity. It is observed by many Christians who make pancakes on this day, using up rich foods before the fasting period. In which month does the vernal equinox occur in the Northern Hemisphere? March. The vernal equinox marks the start of spring in the Northern Hemisphere. It occurs in March, when the Sun crosses the celestial equator from south to north, resulting in approximately equal day and night lengths. On which day of which month is All Saints' Day celebrated? November 1st. All Saints' Day is a Christian festival celebrated on November 1st in many Western churches. It is a day to remember and honor all the saints, known and unknown, who have attained heaven. In France, which flower is traditionally given on May Day as a good luck charm? Lily of the Valley. In France, the lily of the valley, muguet, is traditionally given on May Day, May 1st, as a symbol of good luck and happiness. The tradition dates back to the Renaissance, and the flower is often sold on the streets on this day. What is the date of St. George's Day? The 23rd of April. St. George's Day is celebrated on April 23rd. St. George is the patron saint of England, and the day is celebrated with various cultural and patriotic events. In what year did Guy Fawkes plot to blow up the Houses of Parliament, commemorated on November 5th as Guy Fawkes Night, take place? 1605. The Gunpowder Plot was a conspiracy in 1605 to blow up the Houses of Parliament in London and kill King James I. Guy Fawkes, a member of the group, was arrested, and the plot was foiled, leading to the annual celebration known as Guy Fawkes Night. How is the date of the summer bank holiday determined in England and Wales? The last Monday in August. Bank holidays in the UK are public holidays established by law. The summer bank holiday, observed on the last Monday in August, provides a late summer long weekend for many workers in England and Wales. For what piece of engineering does the Angel Tube Station in London hold the European record? Longest escalator. The Angel Tube Station, located on the northern line of the London Underground, features one of the longest escalators in Europe. Escalators are a key part of the London Underground's infrastructure. How many blank tiles are there in a game of Scrabble? 2. In the game of Scrabble, 2 blank tiles are included. These tiles can be assigned any letter value, offering strategic flexibility for players during the game. Where do locusts lay their eggs? In sand. Locusts, particularly during swarming phases, lay their eggs in sandy or loose soil. The egg pods are deposited several inches below the surface, providing protection for the developing nymphs. What name is given to the nesting site of penguins? Rookery. A rookery is a breeding colony of penguins, typically located in coastal areas. These sites can host thousands of breeding pairs, forming dense and noisy aggregations. The geographic region of Patagonia is situated between which 2 South American countries? Argentina and Chile. Patagonia is a sparsely populated region located at the southern end of South America, shared by Argentina and Chile. It is known for its dramatic landscapes, including the Andes Mountains, glaciers, and steppes. Bolivia gained independence in 1825 from which European country? Spain. Bolivia declared its independence from Spain on August 6, 1825, following a prolonged struggle for liberation. The country was named after Simon Bolivar, a key figure in the South American independence movement. What is the capital of Venezuela? Caracas. Caracas is the capital and largest city of Venezuela, located in the northern part of the country. As the nation's center for commerce, culture, and education, understanding its geography is fundamental to understanding Venezuela's political and economic landscape. Which ocean separates the east coast of South America from the west coast of Africa? Atlantic. The Atlantic Ocean is the second largest of the world's oceans, playing a crucial role in global climate patterns and maritime trade routes. Its location between South America and Africa has historically facilitated cultural and economic exchange, as well as posing significant navigational challenges. Who was the president of Argentina at the time of the Falklands invasion in 1982? General Galtieri. General Leopoldo Galtieri was the president of Argentina during the 1982 Falklands War. His decision to invade the Falkland Islands led to a brief but significant conflict with the United Kingdom, impacting Argentine politics and international relations. Where in the human body is the scaphoid bone located? In the wrist. The scaphoid is one of the carpal bones of the wrist, located on the thumb side. It is important for wrist movement and stability, and is prone to fracture. Which organ of the human body is affected by hepatitis? Liver. Hepatitis refers to the inflammation of the liver, often caused by viral infections, hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. This inflammation can lead to liver damage, cirrhosis, and liver cancer. What are the 4 basic taste categories that humans can detect? Salty, sweet, sour and bitter. These 4 tastes are detected by specialized receptor cells on the tongue, which transmit signals to the brain. Umami, a savory taste, is considered a 5th basic taste by many scientists. How many pairs of chromosomes are present in the human body? 23. Humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes, for a total of 46. One set of 23 chromosomes is inherited from each parent, and these chromosomes contain the genetic information that determines an individual's traits. Where in the human body is the only bone that does not articulate with any other bone located? In the neck. The echioid bone, located in the neck, is unique because it doesn't directly articulate with any other bone. Instead, it is suspended by muscles and ligaments, primarily serving as an anchor for the tongue. Is 2 the only even prime number? True. A prime number is a natural number greater than 1 that is not a product of 2 smaller natural numbers. The number 2 is the only even prime number because all other even numbers are divisible by 2, in addition to 1 and themselves, and therefore not prime. Is it true that the African rhinoceros has 2 horns on its head? True. There are 2 species of African rhinoceros, the white rhinoceros and the black rhinoceros. Both species have 2 horns made of keratin, a fibrous structural protein, unlike the single-horned Indian rhinoceros. Is it true that a rat can survive longer without water than a camel? True. Rats have remarkable physiological adaptations that enable them to conserve water efficiently. This adaptation allows them to survive longer without access to free water compared to camels in some conditions. Are rubies and sapphires essentially the same mineral, differing only in color? True. Both rubies and sapphires are forms of the mineral corundum, aluminum oxide. The different colors arise from trace impurities within the crystal structure. Chromium causes the red color of rubies, while iron and titanium contribute to the blue of sapphires. In which decade was the school leaving age raised from 15 to 16 in the UK? 1970s. The school leaving age in the United Kingdom was raised to 16 in 1972. This was done to ensure a higher level of education for young people entering the workforce. Which school was the first to adopt the word public to signify that it was open to students who were willing to pay for their education? Eton College. Eton College, founded in 1440, was one of the first schools to use the term public to indicate its openness to fee-paying students. This marked a departure from schools primarily serving specific religious or charitable purposes. Which politician acquired the moniker, the milk snatcher, following the cessation of free milk provision in schools? Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher, as Secretary of State for Education, ended free milk for schoolchildren over the age of 7 in 1971, earning her the milk snatcher nickname. This was a controversial cost-cutting measure during her tenure. If the U.S. states that border Canada from west to east are Washington, Idaho, Montana, and North Dakota, what state follows? Minnesota. Minnesota is a U.S. state bordering Canada to the east of North Dakota. The US-Canada border stretches for approximately 5,525 miles. If Winston Churchill was the first post-war Prime Minister, Clement Attlee was second, Churchill third, and Anthony Eden fourth, who was the fifth? Harold Macmillan. Harold Macmillan served as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1957 to 1963. His tenure followed Anthony Eden's and preceded that of Alec Douglas Home. If the equator crosses Africa's west coast in the country of Gabon, in which country does it cross the east coast? Somalia. The equator crosses the African continent, passing through Gabon on the west coast and Somalia on the east coast. The equator is an imaginary line that divides the planet into the northern and southern hemispheres. What name is given to abdominal thrusts performed on a choking victim, which is named after the American physician to whom it is credited? Heimlich maneuver. The Heimlich maneuver, developed by Dr. Henry Heimlich, is a first aid procedure used to dislodge obstructions from a person's airway. It involves abdominal thrusts that create pressure to expel the object. What country is home to Kenai Fjords National Park? USA. Kenai Fjords National Park is located in south-central Alaska, USA. It is known for its glaciers, fjords, and diverse wildlife, offering important insights into glacial retreat and coastal ecosystems. What fruit is nicknamed the alligator pear? Avocado. The avocado, scientifically known as Passi americana, is often nicknamed the alligator pear, due to its pear-like shape and the rough, green skin of some varieties. It is a nutrient-rich fruit high in healthy fats. What is the name of the clockwork device used by pianists to measure time? Metronome. A metronome is a device that produces a steady beat at adjustable intervals, aiding musicians in maintaining a consistent tempo. It is crucial for accurate practice and performance, especially for piano players. From what animal does lanolin derive? Sheep. Lanolin is a wax secreted by the sebaceous glands of wool-bearing animals, primarily sheep. It is commonly used in cosmetic and pharmaceutical products due to its emollient properties. The 30 Years' War concluded in 1648 with which peace treaty? Peace of Westphalia. The Peace of Westphalia, signed in 1648, ended the 30 Years' War in the Holy Roman Empire and the 80 Years' War between Spain and the Dutch Republic. It is often seen as a turning point in European history, establishing the concept of sovereign states. Which country was the sole original member of OPEC located outside of the Middle East? Venezuela. Venezuela was a founding member of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, in 1960. Its significant oil reserves and influence in global energy markets made it a key player in the organization from its inception. Provide any year within Leonardo da Vinci's lifespan. 1452-1519. Leonardo da Vinci, a quintessential Renaissance polymath, was born in 1452 and died in 1519. He excelled as a painter, sculptor, architect, musician, scientist, inventor, and more, leaving an indelible mark on art and science. What are the 5 basic tastes? Saltiness, sweetness, sourness, bitterness, umami. The 5 basic tastes are saltiness, sweetness, sourness, bitterness, and umami. Umami, often described as savoriness, was the last to be scientifically identified and is associated with the detection of glutamate. What is the longest river in South Africa? The Orange River. The Orange River is the longest river in South Africa, traversing through South Africa, Lesotho, and Namibia. It plays a crucial role in providing water for irrigation and hydroelectric power. On what do silkworms feed? Mulberries. Silkworms are monophagous insects, meaning they primarily feed on the leaves of the mulberry tree. This specialized diet is essential for their growth and the production of silk fibers. What is the name of the primary railway station in Liverpool? Lime Street. Lime Street Station is the main railway terminus in Liverpool, serving as a major transportation hub for the city and connecting it to various destinations across the United Kingdom. Who was the last monarch to reign solely over England? Elizabeth I. Elizabeth I, who reigned from 1558 until her death in 1603, was the last monarch to rule England alone. After her death, the English and Scottish crowns were unified under James I. Commissioned by Queen Victoria in memory of her husband, in which royal park is the Albert Memorial located? Kensington Gardens. The Albert Memorial is located in Kensington Gardens, London, and was commissioned by Queen Victoria to commemorate her husband, Prince Albert, following his death in 1861. It is a prominent example of high Victorian art and architecture. Which royal establishment was relocated from London to Llantrisong in South Wales in 1968? The Royal Mint. The Royal Mint, the official mint of the United Kingdom, was moved from its location in London to Llantrisong, South Wales, in 1968. This relocation was part of a modernization and expansion effort. Which ceremonial event is conducted annually on the official birthday of the sovereign? Trooping the Colour. Trooping the Colour is a military parade and ceremony performed on the official birthday of the British sovereign. The ceremony involves regiments of the British Army and is a significant event in the royal calendar. What is the name of the Scottish home of the British royal family? Balmoral Castle. Balmoral Castle is a large estate house in Royal Deeside, Aberdeenshire, Scotland, owned by the British royal family. It has been a residence of the British royal family since 1852, when it was purchased by Prince Albert, consort to Queen Victoria. What temperature is the same in Celsius as it is in Fahrenheit? -40 degrees. -40 degrees is the unique temperature point where the Celsius and Fahrenheit scales coincide. This is a commonly tested fact in physics and general science. Which subterranean animal shares its name with a measurement of substance? Mole. A mole is a small burrowing mammal, and also a unit of measurement in chemistry representing Avogadro's number, approximately 6.022 times 10 to the 23 of particles. This represents a key concept in chemistry. What is the name of the pigment that makes leaves green? Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green pigment found in plants and algae, responsible for absorbing light energy during photosynthesis. It's crucial for converting light energy into chemical energy. How many dwarf planets are there in our solar system? 5. Currently, there are 5 recognized dwarf planets in our solar system: Ceres, Pluto, Eris, Makemake, and Hauma. The classification of celestial bodies is a key aspect of astronomy. Absolute zero is a temperature defined as zero on what scale? The Kelvin scale. Absolute zero, the lowest possible temperature, is defined as 0 Kelvin, 0 K. The Kelvin scale is an absolute thermodynamic temperature scale used in science and engineering. Ology is the study of what? Eggs. Ology is a branch of zoology dedicated to the study of eggs, particularly bird eggs. It encompasses the study of egg size, shape, color, and shell structure. Nephrology is the study of which organs? Kidneys. Nephrology is the branch of medicine focused on the study of the kidneys. It deals with the diagnosis and treatment of kidney diseases, including dialysis and kidney transplantation. Which famous building has the address of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? The White House. The White House, located at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C., is the official residence and principal workplace of the President of the United States. It symbolizes the executive branch of the U.S. government. Which public service is located near Victoria Station in London at 10 Broadway? New Scotland Yard. New Scotland Yard, located at 10 Broadway near Victoria Station in London, serves as the headquarters of the Metropolitan Police Service. This is the police force responsible for law enforcement in Greater London. Which international charity is registered at John Smith Drive, Cowley, Oxford? Oxfam. Oxfam is a global organization working to alleviate poverty. It focuses on various initiatives including providing clean water, food security, and advocacy for policy changes. Which public service moved from Bracknell in Berkshire to Exeter in Devon in 2003? The Met Office. The Met Office is the United Kingdom's national weather service. Its relocation to Exeter in 2003 was a significant logistical undertaking, consolidating operations in a purpose-built facility. Which historic event would you associate with Pudding Lane in London? The Great Fire of London. The Great Fire of London started in a bakery on Pudding Lane in 1666. The fire ravaged the city, destroying much of the infrastructure and leading to significant rebuilding efforts. Who killed John F. Kennedy? Lee Harvey Oswald. Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated President John F. Kennedy in Dallas, Texas, on November 22, 1963. The assassination was a pivotal moment in American history, prompting numerous investigations and conspiracy theories. Who killed Martin Luther King? James Earl Ray. James Earl Ray assassinated Martin Luther King Jr. on April 4, 1968, in Memphis, Tennessee. King's assassination was a major blow to the civil rights movement, sparking widespread riots and protests. How many ounces are there in a pound? 16. 1 pound is equivalent to 16 ounces in the avoirdupois weight system, commonly used in the United States. This conversion is crucial for measurements in cooking, baking, and various commercial applications. How many pints are there in a gallon? 8. There are 8 pints in 1 gallon. This is a standard unit of volume measurement, particularly important in contexts such as cooking, brewing, and understanding liquid capacities. How many yards constitute a mile? 1760. A mile is a unit of length in the imperial and US customary systems. It is defined as 1760 yards, which is equivalent to 5280 feet or approximately 1.609 kilometers. How many feet are there in a fathom? 6. A fathom is a unit of length, primarily used in maritime contexts. It is equal to 6 feet, approximately 1.8 meters, and is commonly used to measure the depth of water. How many yards constitute a chain? 22. A chain is a unit of length historically used in surveying. It is equal to 22 yards, 66 feet, or 100 links. The chain is part of the imperial system of measurement. How many gallons constitute a firkin? 9. A firkin is an Old English unit of volume, primarily used for liquids. It is equivalent to 9 imperial gallons or approximately 41 liters. How many sheets of paper constitute a quire? 24. A quire is a unit of quantity used to measure paper. It traditionally consists of 24 or 25 sheets of the same size and quality. Who secured a silver medal in the 1988 Olympic Games for the 110 meters hurdles? Colin Jackson. Colin Jackson is a retired British athlete known for his achievements in the 110 meters hurdles. While a highly decorated athlete, the answer provided in the original prompt is incorrect as he did not win silver in 1988. He is best known for winning gold at the World Championships. Which artist was known as Jack the Dripper, because of his technique of dripping and pouring paint onto a canvas? Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock, 1912 to 1956, was a prominent American painter and a major figure in the abstract expressionist movement. His drip technique involved pouring and splattering paint onto a canvas, creating dynamic and unconventional compositions. What is Manish water? Is it a spicy soup from Jamaica, a spicy spirit from India, or a spicy yogurt from Canada? A Jamaican spicy soup. Manish water is a traditional Jamaican soup believed to have aphrodisiac properties. It is made primarily from goat meat, vegetables, and spices. Which country produces the wine Vinho Verde? Portugal. Vinho Verde is a unique style of Portuguese wine characterized by its slight effervescence and high acidity. The name translates to green wine, referring to its youthful character rather than its color. What are the two primary constituents of Hollandaise sauce? Egg yolks and butter. Hollandaise sauce is a classic emulsified sauce made primarily from egg yolks and butter, often seasoned with lemon juice, salt, and white pepper. It is a key component in dishes like eggs Benedict and is a staple of French cuisine. In which nation are approximately half of the world's pistachio nuts cultivated? Iran. Iran is a leading producer of pistachio nuts, accounting for a significant portion of global production. Pistachios are a major agricultural export for Iran and are cultivated in various regions of the country. In which European country did red onions originate? Italy. Red onions have historical origins in Italy. Their cultivation and use in Italian cuisine demonstrate their connection to the region. Which English county town is situated on the River Lune? Lancaster. Lancaster is a city and the county town of Lancashire, England. It is located on the River Lune and has a rich history dating back to Roman times. What was the real name of the cowboy showman known as Buffalo Bill? William Cody. William Frederick Buffalo Bill Cody, 1846 to 1917, was an American scout, bison hunter, and showman. He is most known for his Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, which popularized romanticized depictions of the American West. Which fruit grows on palm trees? Dates. Date palms, Phoenix dactylifera, are cultivated for their edible fruit known as dates. They are a significant agricultural product in many arid and semi-arid regions worldwide. What is the capital of the U.S. state of Hawaii? Honolulu. Honolulu, located on the island of Oahu, serves as the capital and largest city of Hawaii. It is a major economic, cultural, and political center in the Pacific. St. Lucia is an island holiday destination in which sea? The Caribbean Sea. St. Lucia is a sovereign island country in the eastern Caribbean Sea bordering the Atlantic Ocean. It is part of the Lesser Antilles and is known for its volcanic beaches and lush rainforest. In which month does Midsummer's Day occur? June. Midsummer's Day, also known as the summer solstice, typically occurs around June 20th or 21st in the northern hemisphere. It marks the day with the longest period of daylight. In which language does soleil mean sun? French. Soleil is the French word for sun. French is a Romance language derived from Vulgar Latin, spoken by about 77 million people worldwide as a first language. The Costa del Sol is a region of which country? Spain. The Costa del Sol, Coast of the Sun, is a region in the south of Spain, in the autonomous community of Andalusia. It stretches along the Mediterranean coast from Gibraltar to Neja and is a popular tourist destination. Which leader was portrayed with warts in his portrait? Oliver Cromwell. Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector of England, insisted on being painted with his warts, defying the artistic conventions of idealizing portraits. This request reflected his desire for an honest and unvarnished representation. Which royal house succeeded the Tudors? Stuart. The Stuart dynasty succeeded the Tudor dynasty upon the death of Queen Elizabeth I in 1603, as she had no direct heir. James VI of Scotland, a Stuart, became James I of England, uniting the crowns. Name the space shuttle that exploded in 1986. Challenger. The Space Shuttle Challenger disintegrated 73 seconds after liftoff on January 28, 1986, resulting in the death of all 7 astronauts on board. The disaster led to a temporary halt in the Space Shuttle program and a review of safety protocols. What was William Blake's most famous poem? The Tiger. The Tiger, published in 1794 as part of William Blake's Songs of Experience *, is one of Blake's most anthologized and studied poems. It explores themes of creation, duality, and the sublime through the symbolic representation of the tiger. Which British statesman's ancestral home was Blenheim Palace? Winston Churchill. Blenheim Palace was gifted to John Churchill, 1st Duke of Marlborough, for his military victories. Winston Churchill, a descendant, was born there and it stands as a significant historical landmark. Who was the last woman executed in the UK? Ruth Ellis. Ruth Ellis was the last woman to be executed in the United Kingdom, in 1955, for the murder of her lover. Her case remains controversial and contributed to the eventual abolition of the death penalty. By what alternative name is Epiphany known in some countries? Three Kings Day. Epiphany, celebrated on January 6, commemorates the visit of the Magi to the infant Jesus. In many cultures, it is known as Three Kings Day, marking the end of the Christmas season. Which month derives its name from the Latin word for 8? October. October derives its name from the Latin word octo, meaning 8. This is because it was originally the 8th month in the Roman calendar before January and February were added. What type of snake is a sidewinder? Rattlesnake. A sidewinder is a type of rattlesnake, specifically belonging to the genus Crotalus. These snakes are adapted to desert environments and are known for their unique sidewinding locomotion. What is the name of the BBC Science and Philosophy documentary series that has produced more than 1,000 episodes since it began in 1964? Horizon. Horizon is a long-running BBC documentary series covering science and philosophy, renowned for its in-depth exploration of complex topics. It has been broadcast since 1964 and boasts a substantial archive of over 1,000 episodes. Of what was Hephaestus the Greek god? Fire. In Greek mythology, Hephaestus was the god of fire, metalworking, and crafts. He was often associated with volcanoes and blacksmiths. What is the first book of the Bible attributed to a prophet? Joshua. The book of Joshua is the first book of the Old Testament in the Bible traditionally attributed to a prophet. It recounts the story of the Israelites' conquest of Canaan under the leadership of Joshua. To which Indian tribe did Sitting Bull belong? Sioux. Sitting Bull was a prominent leader of the Lakota Sioux tribe. He is known for his resistance to U.S. government policies and his role in the Battle of Little Bighorn. What started at Fort Sumter in April 1861? American Civil War. The American Civil War began with the Confederate attack on Fort Sumter in Charleston, South Carolina, in April 1861. This marked the start of a 4-year conflict between the Union and the Confederacy. In which territory, now a U.S. state, was the Battle of Little Bighorn fought? Montana. The Battle of Little Bighorn, also known as Custer's Last Stand, occurred in Montana Territory in 1876. It was a significant armed engagement between the Lakota, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho tribes and the U.S. Army. Who succeeded General Joseph Johnston as the commander of the Army of Northern Virginia? Robert E. Lee. Robert E. Lee assumed command of the Army of Northern Virginia in 1862 after Joseph Johnston was wounded. Lee's leadership shaped the Confederate war effort in the Eastern Theater. Which country is situated on the west coast of Africa between Ghana and Liberia? Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast, officially the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, is located on the western coast of Africa, nestled between Ghana and Liberia. It is a significant producer of cocoa and a key economic player in the region. What is the most populated country in the world? China. China holds the title of the world's most populous country, with a population exceeding 1.4 billion people. Its vast population size has significant implications for global economics, politics, and resource management. Which alloy is created using copper and tin? Bronze. Bronze is an alloy primarily made of copper, usually with tin as the main additive. It is harder than pure copper and more resistant to corrosion. How many sheets of paper are contained within a single ream? 500. A ream is a standard quantity of paper, traditionally consisting of 480, 500, or 516 sheets. The 500-sheet ream is most common for standard office paper. What is the equivalent of 1 mile expressed in meters, 1609, 1659, or 1709? 1609. 1 mile is defined as exactly 1609.344 meters. This standardized measurement is crucial for accurate calculations in various fields, including surveying, navigation, and sports. What is the name of the largest planet within our solar system? Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system, possessing a mass more than 2.5 times that of all other planets combined. Its immense size and gaseous composition make it a significant object of study in planetary science. Which chemical element possesses the lowest boiling point? Helium. Helium has the lowest boiling point of all elements, at approximately -268.9 degrees Celsius, -452.1 degrees Fahrenheit. This property makes it crucial in cryogenic applications and scientific research involving extremely low temperatures. Which element is associated with old lace? Arsenic. Arsenic was historically used in the production of lace, particularly in the 19th century, to create a vibrant green color. This practice posed significant health risks due to arsenic's toxicity. Which element is most abundant in the human body? Oxygen. Oxygen constitutes approximately 65% of the human body's mass. It plays a critical role in respiration and numerous organic molecules, including water. Which element, formed when seawater comes into contact with electricity, was responsible for the death of many submariners during the Second World War? Chlorine. During World War II, electrolysis of seawater in submarines produced chlorine gas. The chlorine gas was highly toxic and caused fatalities among submarine crews. Which element is the best conductor of electricity? Silver. Silver exhibits the highest electrical conductivity among all elements. However, its cost limits its widespread use in electrical applications, where copper and aluminum are more commonly employed. Which element has the chemical symbol S? Sulfur. Sulfur is a nonmetal element with the chemical symbol S. It is essential for biological processes and is used in various industrial applications, including the production of sulfuric acid. How is dihydrogen monoxide more commonly known? Water. Dihydrogen monoxide, H2O, is the scientific name for water. It is essential for all known forms of life and acts as a universal solvent in biological and chemical processes. Which two elements are believed to be found at the center of the Earth? Iron and nickel. The Earth's core is primarily composed of iron and nickel. The intense pressure and temperature at the core give these metals unique properties, generating the Earth's magnetic field through convection. Which element was historically known as the king of metals? Gold. Gold, due to its rarity, inertness, and aesthetic value, was historically regarded as the king of metals. Its resistance to corrosion and malleability made it highly prized for coinage and ornamentation. Mary Phelps Jacob designed which item of clothing in 1914? The bra. Mary Phelps Jacob patented the first modern bra in 1914, a significant advancement in women's clothing history. Her design offered a more comfortable alternative to corsets. Born in Gibraltar, which designer was named British Designer of the Year in 1987, 1994 and 1995? John Galliano. John Galliano, a British fashion designer born in Gibraltar, gained recognition for his avant-garde designs and theatrical presentations. He served as the creative director for both Givenchy and Christian Dior. Greenland is an autonomous constituent country within which European Kingdom? Denmark. Greenland is a self-governing territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, demonstrating a unique relationship between a European nation and its overseas territory. This arrangement illustrates variations in political structures and governance models within Europe and its associated regions. Which part of the human body would a dermatologist be primarily concerned with? Skin. Dermatology is the branch of medicine dealing with the skin, nails, hair and its diseases. Dermatologists diagnose and treat conditions like eczema, psoriasis, skin cancer, and acne. In 1967, Louis Washkansky achieved medical history by being the first person to receive what pioneering medical procedure? A human heart transplant. Louis Washkansky received the first human heart transplant on December 3, 1967, performed by Dr. Christian Barnard in South Africa. Although he survived only 18 days, the procedure marked a significant milestone in cardiac surgery. What was the primary tank used by the United States in World War II? M4 Sherman. The M4 Sherman was the most widely used medium tank by the United States and its allies during World War II. Its reliability, ease of production, and availability in large numbers made it a crucial component of the Allied war effort. What is H1N1, one of the most commonly searched terms on Google in 2009? A strain of swine flu responsible for the 2009 epidemic. H1N1, also known as swine flu, caused a global pandemic in 2009, raising significant public health concerns. The virus is a subtype of influenza A and is characterized by its rapid spread and potential for severe respiratory illness. Who was elected as the Speaker of the House of Commons following the resignation of Michael Martin in June 2009? John Bercow. John Bercow was elected Speaker of the House of Commons in June 2009. The Speaker is the presiding officer of the House and plays a crucial role in parliamentary procedure. On the 31st of May 2009, Milwina Dean died at the age of 97. Why was her death notable? She was the last living survivor of the Titanic. Milwina Dean was the last living survivor of the Titanic disaster. The sinking of the Titanic in 1912 is a significant historical event that resulted in a large loss of life. Barack Obama was sworn in as US President on the 20th of January 2009. Who was sworn in as Vice President? Joe Biden. Joe Biden served as Vice President under President Barack Obama from 2009 to 2017. The Vice President is the second highest officer in the executive branch of the US government. What is couscous made from? Semolina. Couscous is traditionally made from semolina, which is the coarse, purified wheat middlings of durum wheat. It is a staple food in many North African countries. Located in Yorkshire, what are Drax and Egborough? Power stations. Drax and Egborough are two major coal-fired power stations located in Yorkshire, England. These power stations play a significant role in electricity generation and contribute to the national grid. What was the profession of Blackbeard, who operated in the Caribbean Sea in the 18th century? Pirate. Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, was a notorious English pirate who operated around the West Indies and the eastern coast of Britain's North American colonies during the early 18th century. His infamous reputation and fearsome appearance made him a legend in maritime history. Which country is bordered by France, Belgium and Germany? Luxembourg. Luxembourg, officially the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, is a small landlocked country in Western Europe. Its strategic location and historical significance have made it an important player in European politics and economics. In 1958, King Faisal II was murdered at the age of 23. Of which country was he the last king? Iraq. Faisal II was the last king of Iraq, marking the end of the Hashemite monarchy in the country following a military coup in 1958. This event had significant political repercussions in the Middle East. In May 2009, Milvina Dean died at the age of 97. Of which historic event was she the last survivor? The sinking of the Titanic. Milvina Dean was the last survivor of the RMS Titanic, which sank in 1912. Her death marked the end of an era, representing a direct link to one of the most famous maritime disasters in history. In December 1991, which international airline operated its last commercial flight? Pan Am. Pan American World Airways, Pan Am, ceased operations in December 1991. Pan Am was a major American airline and cultural icon of the 20th century, known for its innovation and influence in the aviation industry. Chris Patten stepped down as the last British governor of Hong Kong in 1997. Which country ceded control of the neighboring island of Macau 2 years later? Portugal. Portugal transferred sovereignty over Macau to China in 1999, concluding centuries of Portuguese colonial presence. This event mirrored the handover of Hong Kong and marked a significant shift in the geopolitical landscape of East Asia. What was the name of the last surviving British veteran of World War I, who died in July 2009 at the age of 111? Harry Patch. Harry Patch, who passed away in 2009, was the last surviving British veteran of the First World War. His death symbolized the passing of the generation that directly experienced one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. In what year were the Winter Olympics held for the first time so as not to coincide with the Summer Olympics? 1994. Prior to 1994, the Summer and Winter Olympic Games were held in the same year. The change to separate years allowed for more focused attention and resource allocation for each event. Where were the 1972 Winter Olympics held for the first time in Asia? Sapporo, Japan, Asia. The 1972 Sapporo Winter Olympics marked the first time the Winter Games were held in Asia. This event signaled a shift towards globalizing the Winter Olympics beyond traditional European and North American locations. Which country hosted the 2014 Winter Olympics? Russia. The 2014 Winter Olympics were held in Sochi, Russia. These games were notable for their high cost and significant investment in infrastructure development in the region. Which metal is extracted from hematite? Iron. Hematite is a major ore of iron, composed primarily of iron 3 oxide, iron 3 oxide. It is essential for the production of steel and other iron-based products. Who invented the aqualung in 1943? Jacques Cousteau. Jacques Cousteau, along with Émile Gagnon, co-invented the aqualung, also known as the self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, scuba. This invention revolutionized underwater exploration and diving. Augusta serves as the state capital of which U.S. state? Maine. Augusta became the capital of Maine in 1832, succeeding Portland. The city is situated on the Kennebec River and plays a significant role in Maine's state government and economy. Who served as the captain of the Titanic during its ill-fated maiden voyage? Edward J. Smith. Captain Edward J. Smith was a seasoned veteran of the White Star Line and commanded the Titanic on its only voyage in 1912. He perished along with the ship during the tragic sinking. Who is the current Chancellor of Germany? Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel served as the Chancellor of Germany from 2005 to 2021. She was a prominent figure in European politics and is known for her leadership during the Eurozone crisis and other international issues. What bird serves as the national symbol of the United States of America? Bald eagle. The bald eagle was officially adopted as the national bird of the United States in 1782. It symbolizes freedom, strength, and the American spirit. Which species of wasp is known to reach lengths of up to 55 mm, 2.2 in? Hornet. Hornets are among the largest eusocial wasps and are known for their painful stings and aggressive behavior when their nests are threatened. They play a role in their ecosystems as predators of other insects. What term designates an individual who crafts arrows? A fletcher. A fletcher is a craftsperson who specializes in making arrows, the projectile component of archery. This skilled trade involves selecting appropriate materials like wood, feathers, and adhesives, shaping the arrow shaft, and attaching the fletching and arrowhead. What are the first names of the two Wild West outlaws who were members of the James Younger gang? Jesse and Frank James. Jesse and Frank James were prominent figures in the James Younger gang, notorious for bank and train robberies in the American Old West. Their activities occurred primarily in the period following the American Civil War. Which brothers are credited with constructing the world's first successful airplane? The Wright brothers. The Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, are recognized for inventing, building, and flying the world's first successful motor-operated airplane. Their first sustained flight occurred on December 17, 1903, at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Which book did German brothers Wilhelm and Jacob write in 1812? Grimm's Fairy Tales. Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm, known as the Brothers Grimm, were German academics, philologists, cultural researchers, and authors who collected and published folklore. Their collection, Grimm's Fairy Tales, published in 1812, is a cornerstone of classic children's literature. Which two Lincolnshire brothers are associated with the Methodist movement? John and Charles Wesley. John and Charles Wesley were key figures in founding the Methodist movement within the Church of England during the 18th century. Their evangelistic efforts and hymn writing significantly shaped Protestant Christianity. Into which sea does the Danube River flow? Black Sea. The Danube River is the second longest river in Europe, flowing through much of Central and Eastern Europe before emptying into the Black Sea. Understanding the geography of major rivers and their drainage basins is crucial for studying regional economics and environmental factors. Through how many countries does the Amazon River flow? 7. The Amazon River, the largest river by discharge volume of water in the world, flows through several South American countries including Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Guyana. Its basin is critical to global biodiversity and climate regulation. Through which country does the Indus River predominantly flow? Pakistan. The Indus River is one of the longest rivers in Asia and is vital for the agriculture and economy of Pakistan. Its source is in the Tibetan Plateau, and it flows through Pakistan before emptying into the Arabian Sea. Which major river empties into the Gulf of Guinea? Niger. The Niger River is the principal river of West Africa, extending about 4,180 kilometers. Its source is in the Guinea Highlands and flows through several countries, including Nigeria, before emptying into the Gulf of Guinea. Into which sea does the Volga River flow? Caspian Sea. The Volga is the longest river in Europe, flowing through central Russia and into the Caspian Sea. It is a crucial waterway for transportation and plays a significant role in the Russian economy. Which river originates in China and empties into the South China Sea? The Mekong. The Mekong River is a transboundary river in Southeast Asia. It flows from the Tibetan Plateau through several countries, including China, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, before emptying into the South China Sea. Through which two countries does the Rio Grande flow? USA and Mexico. The Rio Grande forms part of the border between the United States and Mexico. It is a significant river in North America, playing a vital role in the region's water resources and ecosystem. Which river originates in British Columbia, Canada, and empties into the Bering Sea? The Yukon. The Yukon River is a major river of northwestern North America. It originates in British Columbia, Canada, flows through Yukon Territory, and then through Alaska before emptying into the Bering Sea. In 1992, following Neil Kinnock's loss in the general election, who succeeded him as leader of the Labour Party? John Smith. John Smith became the leader of the Labour Party in 1992 after Neil Kinnock's resignation following the general election defeat. Smith's leadership was marked by efforts to modernize the party and prepare it for future electoral success. Who was responsible for the "Crisis, What Crisis?" headline in the Sun newspaper, following their return from a four-nation summit in Guadeloupe during January 1979? James Callaghan. James Callaghan, the British Prime Minister at the time, is associated with the "Crisis, What Crisis?" headline, which appeared in the Sun in 1979. The headline reflected a perceived disconnect between Callaghan's demeanour and the severity of the economic challenges facing the UK at the time. Which Labour leader defeated Winston Churchill in the summer 1945 general election? Clement Attlee. Clement Attlee led the Labour Party to victory in the 1945 general election, unseating Winston Churchill and his Conservative government. This election marked a significant shift in British politics, ushering in an era of social reform and the establishment of the welfare state. Excluding Gordon Brown, 5 individuals have assumed the role of Prime Minister mid-term. Can you name the 2 who subsequently failed to win the following election? Alex Douglas Home and James Callaghan. Only 2 of the 5 mid-term Prime Ministers failed to win the following general election: Alex Douglas Home and James Callaghan. Douglas Home took over from Harold Macmillan but lost to Harold Wilson in 1964, while Callaghan replaced Harold Wilson but lost to Margaret Thatcher in 1979. Which advertising agency was responsible for the 1979 Conservative campaign, and what was the famous tagline associated with the poster featuring a queue of people at a job centre? Labour isn't working. Saatchi and Saatchi created the "Labour Isn't Working" campaign for the Conservative Party in 1979. The poster depicting a long unemployment line was a powerful and effective message that resonated with voters during a period of economic hardship. Prior to winning the 1964 election, who delivered the "White Heat of Technology" speech at their party conference? Harold Wilson. Harold Wilson's "White Heat of Technology" speech, delivered before the 1964 election, emphasized the importance of modernizing Britain through technological advancement. This message appealed to voters and contributed to Labour's victory in that election. After the Conservative Party's defeat in the 1997 general election, name one of the leaders who served before David Cameron. William Hague or Ian Duncan Smith or Michael Howard. Following the Conservative Party's defeat in 1997, William Hague, Ian Duncan Smith, and Michael Howard each served as leaders of the party before David Cameron assumed the role in 2005. Each of these leaders faced the challenge of rebuilding the party after a period of electoral decline. With which sport is Willie John McBride associated? Rugby union. Willie John McBride is a highly regarded figure in rugby union, primarily known for his time as a lock forward for Ireland and the British and Irish Lions. He captained the Lions on their unbeaten tour of South Africa in 1974. What name is given to any work of religious art which depicts the baby Jesus with his mother? Madonna and Child. The Madonna and Child is a recurring subject in Christian art, representing the Virgin Mary with the infant Jesus. These depictions are central to Christian iconography and have been portrayed across various artistic styles and periods. Situated in Ecuador, what is the name of the highest active volcano in the world? Cotopaxi. Cotopaxi is an active stratovolcano in the Andes Mountains, located in Ecuador. Its elevation makes it one of the highest active volcanoes globally, attracting scientific interest and mountaineering challenges. What do Australians call a dry stream bed that fills with water when it rains? Billabong. In Australia, a billabong refers to an isolated pond or a dead-end channel left after a river changes its course, particularly in arid or semi-arid regions. Billabongs often serve as important water sources for wildlife during dry periods. On which river does Balmoral Castle stand? River Dee. Balmoral Castle, the Scottish home of the British royal family, is situated on the banks of the River Dee in Aberdeenshire. The River Dee is renowned for its salmon fishing and its scenic beauty in the Scottish Highlands. At what geographical location does 0 degrees latitude intersect with 0 degrees longitude? Atlantic Ocean. The prime meridian, 0 degrees longitude, and the equator, 0 degrees latitude, intersect in the Atlantic Ocean, near the coast of West Africa. This point is a fundamental reference for global navigation and mapping. In which country are the Oder and Vistula rivers, which flow into the Baltic Sea, located? Poland. Both the Oder and Vistula rivers are major rivers in Poland, playing a significant role in the country's geography and economy. They empty into the Baltic Sea, influencing regional ecosystems and transportation. What are the two crown dependencies located in the British Isles? Isle of Man and Channel Islands. The Isle of Man and the Channel Islands are crown dependencies, self-governing territories that are not part of the United Kingdom but are under the British Crown. They have their own legislative assemblies and legal systems. Which US state shares a border with only one other state? Maine. Maine is unique among US states because it only borders New Hampshire. Its geographic location in the northeastern corner of the United States contributes to the singular border relationship. In which two countries is Kanchenjunga, the world's third highest mountain, located? India and Nepal. Kanchenjunga, the third highest peak in the world, straddles the border between India and Nepal. It's a significant part of the Himalayan range and holds cultural and ecological importance for both countries. From which country did Winston Churchill's mother originate? USA. Winston Churchill's mother, Jennie Jerome, was an American socialite. Her marriage to Lord Randolph Churchill connected a prominent British family to American wealth and influence. Where was Napoleon Bonaparte born? Corsica. Napoleon Bonaparte was born in Ajaccio, Corsica, in 1769. Corsica, an island in the Mediterranean Sea, had been annexed by France just a year before his birth. In which country was the composer Frédéric Chopin born? Poland. Frédéric Chopin, a renowned composer and pianist of the Romantic era, was born in Zelezowa Wola, Poland. He is celebrated as a national hero, and his music reflects Polish identity and culture. In which country was Joseph Stalin born? Georgia. Joseph Stalin, the leader of the Soviet Union from the mid-1920s until his death in 1953, was born in Gori, Georgia. At the time of his birth, Georgia was part of the Russian Empire.